Many thanks for joining us. Now, Deputy President William Ruto has blasted both parliamentarians and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga for undermining the country's institutions set up by the Constitution. In a direct response to recent remarks, Ruto told of Raila to respect the judiciary and refrain from attacks that might plunge the country into anarchy. And as KTN Samogina reports, the MPs were not spared either in the attempt to disband the Salaries and Remuneration Commission in the Salaries stalemate.
The
Deputy President has shielded the Judiciary and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission from attacks by disgruntled leaders. Taking former Prime Minister Raila Odinga head-on, Ruto warned Raila against tarnishing the judiciary's image, saying it may destabilize the nation.
We want the judiciary respected. It is the only way we can move as a civilized society. Otherwise, we will cause anarchy.
On his arrival from a 2-day UK tour, the former Prime Minister had blasted the Chief Justice over his poll petition verdict, saying the CJ presided over an injustice. Raila lost his election petition to overturn President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto's election at the Supreme Court.
Is that the court of law, or court of justice, or of injustice? That's why when the Chief Justice feels offended, he must know that many Kenyans who feel more offended than him.
So we want everybody, not to insult the judiciary or to downgrade the judiciary.
We are not after our salaries.
The Deputy President equally weighed in on the ongoing salaries war between the Salaries and Remuneration Commission and the National Assembly. Ruto, in a veiled reference, urged MPs to drop their onslaught against the SRC and pursue diplomatic ways through set-out institutions to settle their scores.
We have a lot of respect for our members of parliament and our senators, and we are going to work with them. But we must respect all the institutions that we have created and let us find solutions within those institutions. That way, we can go forward.
Speaking at the burial of Deputy Speaker Joyce Laboso's mother, the MPs staged a mutiny against their boss, putting a spirited defense while they will keep fighting to feed their insatiable greed for huge paybacks from public coffers at the expense of taxpayers.
We should be treated the same way the other two arms of government are being treated. They are being given vehicles, but Kenyans think we don't deserve to be given vehicles. We also want to be given the GK cars, like everybody else who is in those executive arms, in the legislature, in the judiciary, because we are also constitutional office holders.
You will only give the leaders that you deserve. So we are not going to get angels coming to be members of parliament. They will only be Kenyans.
Already, the disbandment motion has been forwarded to the Parliamentary Committee on Delegated Legislations to probe the Saras Rem-led SRC with premeditated outcome.
Any committee that will be seized of this thing must do fair to this institution of parliament, must do fairness to the Republic of Kenya, and bring a report that will censure and punish.
However, President Uhuru Kenyatta holds the key to blocking the MP's bid of looting public coffers in their latest attempt. Samogina, KTN, Nairobi.
And as the Deputy President read the Riot Act over respect for institutions, elsewhere, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga continued to give hints on his comeback to the National Assembly. Raila said he is yet to make up his mind on the issue, contrary to his earlier stance that he would lead court from outside Parliament. Raila was speaking in Funyula, Busia County at Arthur Ochuada's funeral service, flanked by Siaya Senator James Orengo, former Vice President Mudi Awori, former Member of Parliament Fred Gumo, and Funyula MP Paul Otuoma, who urged Raila to consider rejoining Parliament in order to foster the agenda of the party.
Mimi niko na mambo mengi ya kufanya. Mimi nilisema tulikuwa tunaelekea huko Jerusalem. Tunaelekea Canaan. Tukafika katika genge ya mto Jordan. Mamba ikatoka pande ile, tukarudi nyuma. Lakini sio kama umeona mamba sasa, hiyo uvuki mito hiyo, si unatafuta mali nyingine ambayo iko safe, sio? Tunatafuta mali nyingine. Nilisema ati kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa upishi.
Hii mambo ya kusema ati hii ni kiti kidogo, no, it is the agenda. The agenda is bigger. So mimi nitaomba ufikirie kabisa, because we need leadership. Although we are in a coalition of code, lakini code ni mtoto, lazima alewe vizuri. Bado ni mtoto. Hii coalition lazima ulee vizuri.
Right, let's stay on the western side of the country. And political leaders from western Kenya turned the burial of the late Jeremiah Lusweti, former NAT secretary in Bungoma, into a platform to express their concerns over rising cases of insecurity in the region. Now, the leaders say they were dissatisfied with the way police are handling the situation and blamed them for not doing enough to arrest the gangs responsible for the attacks. KTN's Najma Ismail reports.
The NAT leaders, led by the First National Vice Chair Samson Kaguma and Frederick Sichangi, put politicians on the spot, asking them to explain what the government is doing about the security situation.
And since some of the politicians are here, we want them to confirm or deny. Because for how long are we going to have sleepless nights? Just because of a group of people. Their interest ni kuumiza watu tu. When we see the screens showing a lot of people breaking in houses and without any reason, even killing.
However, the politicians led by former Bumula Member of Parliament Bifoli Wakwoli blamed unemployment in the region and asked the Jubilee government to deliver on their pledge of providing the youth with jobs.
Police, step up. Let us stop the blame game. Na kama ni kweli ni Bungoma, why is it happening in Busia? Why is it happening in Kakamega? Mumias the other day. This is insecurity because of unemployment.
Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula, on his part, urged the government to quickly launch investigations into the incidences and get to the bottom of it, and faulted the police slow response into containing the attacks.
Hapo kwangu karibu na kwa Lukoritu, jirani yangu, mmoja ambaye ameshikwa ni assistant chief na majambazi wanatembea pamoja. Wale vijana naambiwa wameshikwa, nilizungumza na OCB nasema wengine walikuwa wamefungwa maisha, wameachiliwa ndio wanahangaisha watu.
The last 1 week has seen several attacks where an unknown gang of assailants armed with crude weapons attacked several villages in Busia and Bungoma, killing at least 9 people and leaving almost 142 others admitted in hospital in critical condition. Najma Ismail for KTN.
Insecurity in the western region of the country, of course, that is a story that we're keeping an eye on for you, just to make sure that the residents there have all the security they need. Elsewhere, the Council of Governors wants the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to urgently craft salary structures for county executive officers and other senior staff in devolved governments. The governors have revealed that they are facing a huge challenge in hiring professionals and experienced personnel due to lack of clear salary scales. And as KTN's Patrick Kamimo reports, the thorny issue of salaries is still generating a lot of debate, with the National Council of Churches of Kenya being the latest group to condemn members of Parliament's move to disband the Salaries Commission. Take a look.
Even as commissioners of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission ponder their fate over lawmakers' threat to disband the commission over refusal to honor their hefty salaries demands, governors in the 47 counties are also having sleepless nights hunting for qualified and experienced staff to head key departments. It all boils down to money, and governors want the Salaries Commission to clear the impasse.
How do you advertise a job whose salary you don't know? It is ridiculous.
Governors say they cannot hire professional staff for county executive positions as the salary scales are not set. Early this week, 5 of the 7 nominees of the Embu County Executive Committee declined to take the positions over poor pay. Governors now fear devolved governments could suffer in delivery of quality service if they fail to attract quality staff to run key departments.
We have advertised a number of positions, and some of us are not getting the right personnel, like in the executive committees and other places. For example, one county advertised and got 900 applicants. Only 2 can qualify.
Elsewhere, the National Council of Churches of Kenya joined the debate on salaries, urging lawmakers to stop the greed. The clergy observed that a motion seeking to disband the Salaries Commission is a ploy by legislators to impoverish Kenyans.
The members of the National Assembly are seeking to bulldoze their way into higher salaries. We find this action despicable and an insult on Kenyans.
It is not the work of MP to pay for rows and the related stuff in this country. It is the work of MPs to make good laws that facilitate every Kenyan to access adequate remuneration and provision so that they do not need to be patronized by MPs.
Those opposed to MPs' demands argue lawmakers have no reasonable grounds to disband the Salaries Commission.
I don't think that constitutional commissions can be under threat from Parliament, because Parliament itself is of the Constitution.
We would advise the members of Parliament not to be so much in a hurry to disband the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, not to misuse their power, because the way they are acting now, they are saying we are powerful, therefore we can. We are saying no.
Sijasema mbunge aongezwe mshahara. Mimi na Kenya iko hate. Na convention yetu ya International Labour Organization 95 inasema protection of wages and incomes. Kulinda mshahara hata kama ni kidogo. That is all what I'm doing.
It is a catch-22 situation where lawmakers want to recall salaries, with the civil society threatening to invoke the right of recall clause in the Constitution. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
President Uhuru Kenyatta's party, the National Alliance, has denied claims that its party officials are being investigated over misappropriation of campaign funds. Secretary General Onyango Olo says, contrary to reports in a section of the media, none of the party officials are under probe over financial impropriety. Media reports had today indicated the top TNA officials are under investigations over the loss of 50 million shillings from the party's account and for accepting bribes to issue nomination certificates during the February party primaries. Olo said TNA has airtight checks and balances that would make such fraudulent activities impossible.
As the Secretary General, I want to assure you that the National Alliance as a party did conduct its campaign above board. Issues of finances were managed above board. As I'm talking to you this morning, I have not heard of any complaint with regard to the finances of the party.
Right, let's cross borders now. And a Kenyan woman has been asked to repay the British government 40 million shillings for making false welfare claims worth over 26 million over a 6-year period. The move by British courts also saw 3 residential properties bought by Miss Popola in key UK upmarket areas seized to foot the huge court bill. Gladys Popola, who resides with her husband in the UK in northwest London, is currently serving a 2-year jail term since March 2012 after admitting 13 counts of benefit fraud and 3 other counts of fraud relating to obtaining a national insurance number. Popola raked in so much from the full range of benefits she claimed that she bought 3 homes in London and 1 here in Kenya. The court found that Popola proceeded to demand welfare support despite the fact that she had 3 jobs and a working husband. Popola has since been released on license after serving less than half her term and is free to remain in the United Kingdom despite rising protests that she be deported for abusing UK government's welfare program. That is a story that is coming in from the United Kingdom. Let's bring you back to the country on our roads now. And 4 people, among them 3 members of the same family, were killed in a road accident earlier today at Ndori Market along the Kisumu-Bondo Road. The deceased include a driver, a man and his 2 sons. The family were heading to Asembo in Rarieda constituency Siaya County when the accident occurred. 6 other people are admitted in critical condition at the Nyanza Provincial Hospital in Kisumu. The salon car that had the 4 occupants was heading to Bondo when it was crushed by a matatu heading to Kisumu, which was overtaking a motorbike. Siaya OCPD Stephen Chiteka says bodies of the 4 people who died have been taken to the provincial hospital mortuary. Elsewhere, police in Lodwar have arrested 24 Ethiopian aliens who were en route to Kitale after the vehicle they were traveling in was involved in a road accident along the Lodwar-Kitale road in Turkana County. The speeding vehicle is said to have rolled several times, injuring the aliens. Police who were acting on a tip-off engaged the Ethiopians in running battles as they tried to escape from the scene of the accident.
It was a tragic end to a dramatic chase by police in Lodwar who were in pursuit of illegal immigrants. The speeding vehicle lost control and rolled several times. One of the aliens died while receiving treatment at the Lodwar District Hospital, while several others are admitted in critical condition. The police, acting on a tip-off from members of the public, were on the trail of the aliens believed to have crossed into Kenya on transit to South Africa.
2 sustained various injuries were recovered from that vehicle, and they were taken to Ruto District Hospital. Later on, it was discovered that another 16 had escaped from that vehicle. So basically this vehicle had about 24 passengers who are believed to be Ethiopian aliens.
The suspects believed to be behind a human trafficking syndicate has been arrested and arraigned in a Lodwar court.
We have 23. 7 of them are receiving treatment as of now. The rest have been taken to court.
The cases of illegal immigrants crossing into Kenya has been rampant in the area, and the local residents are accusing the police of harboring the aliens, saying human trafficking was on the rise in the region. Najma Ismail for KTN.
The Kenya Human Rights Commission wants the government and the police service to change tact in handling cases of cattle rustling. The commission says cattle theft is being conducted by organized gangs who are using sophisticated weapons and killing indiscriminately. And as KTN Sophia Wanuna now reports, the commission, together with representatives of community-based human rights networks, want an elaborate security operation conducted in the affected regions simultaneously.
It is a menace that has been rampant in the recent past and showing no signs of ending. Barely a week ago, 7 MPs from cattle rustling-prone areas of Isiolo, Samburu and Meru came together to chart the way forward in curbing the menace. However, the cattle rustling continues unabated, and the Kenya Human Rights Commission says it is perpetrated by organized gangs.
Our research has shown it's lucrative business that does not only involve those respective communities. We know there are some politicians who are involved. We know, and we've spoken with junior level police officers who've told us when they go for those cattle recovery missions, they have received calls from their superiors telling them to let their stolen livestock pass. So what we are saying is that we must change tact. We can no longer continue using the traditional cover of cattle rustling when the reality is that this is organized criminal activity that must be investigated and brought to a halt once and for all.
The country has this year alone witnessed an unprecedented spate of coordinated armed violence, and the areas worst hit include Baringo, Kuria, Turkana, Isiolo, Baragoi and parts of Meru County. According to Kenya Human Rights Commission, over 100 people have been killed since December last year and thousands of others displaced, majority being women, children and the elderly.
We've taken it as a cultural activity, terming it as cattle rustling. Our decision to start adopting words like theft and maybe robbery is so that to give it its legal context, and it is right context, because we are talking about organized criminals from across communities who deliberately decide to organize themselves and plan.
The Commission also says that due to increased infiltration of small arms and light weapons from war-torn countries bordering Kenya, the cattle theft has become more militarized. At the same time, the human rights body claims that previous operations conducted in affected regions to disarm communities have been avenues of gross human rights violations. They now want the government to disarm the communities and demobilize illegal gangs and restore sanity whilst respecting human rights. Sophia Wanuna, KTN.
Let's now move to a story that fills me with so much pride. Local journalists were last night feted at a colorful event that brought the curtains down on the World Press Freedom Day celebrations. The event, that was the second annual Journalism Awards, took place at the KICC and saw KTN and Standard newspaper journalists scooping almost half of the categories up for grabs. Take a look.
Communities living in the area. Press Freedom Day culminated in a colorful ceremony at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, where local journalists' achievements were celebrated at the Media Council of Kenya Awards. The Standard Group journalists were nominated for awards in various categories. KTN's Asha Mwilu and Dennis Onsarigo won the Governance and Journalist of the Year awards, while Angel Katusia won the Gender category.
Thank you, Media Council, and I'd like to appreciate the award on behalf of my colleague Dennis Onsarigo, who's on assignment shooting case files. And I'd like to appreciate one person in my life, and that's my mother. So this is for you, Mom. I want to thank my boss, I'm sure it's somewhere here, Sam Sholeli. I want to thank the Standard Group. I want to thank my news editors for giving me this opportunity to be able to tell the stories that I've been able to tell.
KTN Swahili anchor and reporter Mashirima Kapombe walked away with the Young Journalist of the Year award. Grace Wekesa and Bridget Chemweno from our sister newspaper, The Standard, won in the categories of arts and culture and gender respectively. The Standard also scooped awards in other categories like Photographer of the Year, won by Thomas Mukoya, and Cartoonist of the Year award scooped by Michael Munene. However, one man who stole the show was Nyambega Gisesa from the Nairobian, who won in 5 categories. The Standard Group CEO Sam Sholei, who was in attendance, was delighted by the journalist's performance and said there is more to come.
Congratulations are in order to all the winners. You are watching Saturday Night Live. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back.